Thank you, and thanks for the invitation to come and tell about Faron Pharmaceuticals. My name is Petri Bono, Chief Medical Officer at Faron. I'm a clinician scientist. My roots are actually also here in Turku. I graduated from the med school, did my PhD at Sirpa Jalkanen's lab. I think I was the fourth student in that lab at that time. This building opened the doors BioCity in the fall of '92, and on that day I started to do my syventäv in Sirpa's lab. Thereafter, after the PhD, went to do a postdoc at the MIT's Cancer Center, got involved with cancer, and since that I've been working with cancer for 25 years. Time I was leading 7 years with the Comprehensive Cancer Center at the Helsinki University Hospital. Been also involved with some of the Orion's pipeline molecules, including darolutamide. Had the pleasure to work first Northern European patient in that trial, and so this is super exciting to develop new drugs. And my background is in clinical trials, early clinical trials, later stage trials, and within immuno-oncology. And today I'm going to tell about what is Faron about and what we're doing. I don't have the possibility to tell that much about our opening positions at the moment. We have a stand here. Please go and visit our people there. They will tell more. But really, what is Faron all about? Faron was founded almost 20 years ago. We are a company who is trying to develop novel cancer drugs, novel immune therapies, and to bring the promise of immune therapy to a lot wider group of people, a lot wider group of cancer patients. At the moment, although Keytruda Pembro is the highest selling drug in the world at the moment, those currently available therapies only work for 20-25% of all cancer patients. So there's a lot to improve, and this is our mission, to be able to treat patients better with novel therapies. How we are doing it. This is our pipeline, and my presentation is not that much for company presentation. As you can imagine, we are a fairly small company. We are about 30 at the moment. We are publicly listed in UK and in Helsinki stock exchanges. And with this pipeline, you can imagine that we are a growing company. We are a growing biotech with passion to change everything how cancer patients are treated. I treated hundreds of cancer patients with immune therapies. They only work for some patients, some very few patients, even not all melanoma patients. Melanoma is the poster child in those treatments. Even not all of them get the benefit. So what we're doing actually, we have a target, and that's our lead asset. I won't tell anything about the preclinical research, what we are doing there at the moment, but I will focus on our target, that is an antibody against Clever-1. What is Clever-1? It's an immunosuppressive receptor expressed on monocyte macrophages, and by treating patients with BEX, we try to remove the immune suppression in the tumor microenvironment. And what we've done earlier is that we had a MATINS trial in advanced solid tumors as single agent. 216 patients were treated. At that time, I was still at the Helsinki University Hospital. Had the privilege to be the global principal investigator in the trial. So before joining Faron about a year ago, so I had personally also treated patients with BEX in solid tumors. So what we learned there, that the concept works. What we learned, we can remove the immunosuppression, we can increase the infiltration of T cells in the tumors, but we treated very, very, very late stage cancer patients and we are single agent, and thereafter we learned more that actually BEX is a combination agent that works best in combinations. I will tell today what have we done in hematological oncology, our trial BEXMAB. We have finished the phase 2. Now we are getting prepared for the phase 3. And then we do have also other trials that are in the pipeline. And I'm very happy to tell that these 3 next solid tumor trials, Blaze, Bexar, and then one in Finland, to treat breast cancer called FinProve. they will all be launched during the winter to have the first patient in. It takes a lot of work to get these trials running, but these 3 ones, Blaze in Roy Marsden in metastatic melanoma and non-small cell lung cancer, Bexar sarcoma patients, sarcoma is the second highest target Clever-1 expressing tumor type, and then breast cancer, Clever-positive patients will be treated with standard of care chemo, taxane plus Bex. And Roy Marsden, Val Hebron, one of the best hospitals in the Europe. They are the ones we have selected to collaborate. And in the hematological study, happy to tell that from US, we have 4 sites have been MD Anderson, the biggest, largest, most beautiful site in the world. That's been one. Yale, chair of Yale's leukemia program, and then City of Hope, and then University of North Carolina. So it's super important that you have very good investigators with very good reputation then when you go and publish your results. And I'm happy to tell that this year we've been having an oral presentation at 4 consecutive major meetings: ASCO, ESMO, EHA, MDS Foundation. Every single meeting we submitted an abstract, we've been an oral there. So this is our pipeline, but I will then tell a little bit. At the end, I will tell what is Faron as an employer, but I also want to tell what we do. I already told this. We are removing immunosuppression, and why we work so well in this myelodysplastic syndrome and AML is that because we actually have a dual mode of action. We're not just hitting the tumor microenvironment, but the cancer cells, the blast cells, they are also there positive for the target, for the Clever-1. They are all 100% positive. So that's why we see a very high number of responses. This is our phase 2 data. You can see a waterfall plot, and here every single patient has decline, some degree of decline in the number of their cancer cells, these blast cells. And you can see over half of them have 100% decline. And none of them who are treated in the front line do have an increase, meaning that we have very good activity. Overall response rate, according to international criteria that take into account also the cytogenetic clearance and also improvement or normalization of blood values in addition to blast counts. So you can see 85% is the overall response rate. And then complete remission rate, so that's 45%. And what we've done now, so we had an FDA end of phase 2 meeting in August, and we are now getting moving forward to the registrational trial with a running phase 2 part, comparing Bex with 2 doses together with standard of care azacitidine, and also having a placebo there. And thereafter, there's an unblinded analysis to select the dose for the final stage or the phase 3 stage. And at the interim analysis of the primary endpoint, that will be complete remission. So we have a possibility for accelerated approval. And then the other primary endpoint is overall survival. But since that takes longer to mature, so the approval is possible to get from the first interim analysis. We believe we have also planned a clever study. It has an adaptive design so that it's possible to change the patient numbers required to show the benefit at 2 interim points in the trial. And this is important. Sometimes the comparator arm, here it's placebo plus AZA, may work better or worse than you have anticipated, so that you can then scale. The important thing in the trial is that you need to do it and define it prospectively before you start the trial, not anymore during the trial. But this is a clever trial design, and we're currently working hard to get this started in Q2 26. And a little bit about the scope. This will be run in 90 to 100 cancer sites in 3 different continents, meaning a lot of work is required. And of course, Faron is not going to do this alone. We have already selected our CRO that we will work together, and as a small biotech, so we have selected a giant CRO to support us. We do have also other milestones that are coming. It's not just about waiting now a couple of years to get MDS data out. So first of all, we had this ESMO presentation just 2 weeks ago. We will have follow-up data at ASH, and then we're gonna launch these new trials. And what we're going to do, we're going to try to do in the new trials, overcome the resistance in melanoma and non-small cell lung cancer by combining BEX to PD-1 inhibitor. We all know that macrophages are source of resistance for those patients. That's a proof of concept type of trial. Then the sarcoma, that's with the standard of care chemo, doxorubicin, to improve the treatment results there. We have nice lab data, both with cells as well as with mice, that adding BEX to chemo is synergistic. And that both the breast trial and the sarcoma trial with those chemos is continuation of that lab research. And actually it was research that was not done by ourselves, it was done by Barts Cancer Centre researchers in London, UK. Then next year, first patient in end of H1, and we expect to have 80 patients by the end of next year in the registrational phase 3 trial. And then, of course, the first patients treated in these solid tumor trials. AML is a disease that is close related to MDS, just even more aggressive, more blasts. And so we do have AML activity also that was shown in the phase 1 part of the BEXMAB trial, and we're going to launch a Nordic AML study together with patients after their stem cell transplants. Stem cell transplants is the only curative treatment in that disease. So we will continue development also within AML. We work as a biotech, we identify the target, and then we make decisions. Multiple myeloma is huge in the world. No matter what you come, look at what's the need for new treatments, how much pharma, big pharma is investing there, how many new drugs have been approved, how much they are selling. Multiple myeloma doesn't express CLEVER-1. We have no plans to go there since we want to hit the tumors where we have the target. CLEVER will not work if you don't have the target. Then in 27, from the registrational trial that we nowadays call BEXNOVA, not anymore BEXMAB2. So we will get the first interim results. Thereafter, possibility for the resizing. Thereafter, we're going to present them again to FDA and then move to phase 3. And then, of course, 27, we will start to get the first results of these solid tumor combination trials. And then also want to mention that it's not possible to do anything alone. You need good investigators, good network of people, and you need a good scientific board. We have 2 scientific boards. We have one for heme, one for solid tumors, and really top-notch leaders participating, guiding us what to do next, because they are in the front run of the new treatments. They know exactly what's happening in the field. And then in the solid tumors, I am super excited to tell that, for example, ESMO 2 weeks ago, the scientific chair of the whole ESMO with 36,000 participants, Tony Toreri from Harvard. So Tony is in our scientific board. Tony told me when I started at Faron and established a new clinical scientific board, when I called him and had a team, that, you know, Petri, I get an invitation to a board every single week. And I can only select a certain number of boards. But your stuff is so exciting that of course I want to join you. And so then also the other solid tumor, one member, the other one is from Gustave Roussy, the largest European cancer center in Paris, and Dr. Massa from there, and then Tom Poles, who is from London. and who time voted in 23 among the top 10 scientists in the world, not just within medicine, but within all areas. So with these guys, we present our data, our plans, and get, of course, feedback from them that how to move forward, what trials to make, what is then relevant when you get the results, because the results are not immediately there. It takes several years to get them. I finally then go and just tell how are we as a company. Before I joined Faron, I was chief medical sometime at Terveystalo, an organization with 16,000 people working, resembling a little bit what is Orion, a very, very large corporate. We are completely different. We are a small company. But what's common for us is that every employee at Faron is that we have huge passion to reach our goals, and the goals are so common. It's so good fun to be working in a company, moving fast forward with new trial results all the time coming. Of course, we are a publicly listed company. We need to inform all exciting new data also to the market, and which makes us also guides a little bit how we work, how we publish our results, and so on. But otherwise, we have a lot of since we are almost 20 years ago, we are not anymore startup, but the way of working, I would say that it probably resembles more a startup than a very large corporation. Of course, for drug development, Q&A, all the requirements by authorities, we need to follow them very exactly. And they do audits, and we need to take care that we feel all the strict requirements for drug development, whether it's about supply, CMC, or how to run the trials. So we need to fill them all. And then, I think we are quite curious company. We love to try to find new areas and investigate those, but of course need to remember that you need to set up in a company proper targets and then work towards them. And we won't have that large R&D departments as, for example, Orion is having, but by working in a smart way, we believe we can be really successful and become a really big player in the oncology field. Finally, career opportunities. I told about our plans. You can pretty easily do your maths that we are a growing company, and we do have openings in clinical operations, regulatory affairs, CMC teams. We don't only operate in Turku. Not half, but 1/3 of our people are based in UK at the moment. We used to have a US office. We don't have that anymore, but we have a strong network in Europe of people working who are Faron employees. And finally, there's a link where to find career opportunities, and can almost guarantee that there will be regularly new openings there, so worth following what are there to come. And I don't know, this watch is not, I'm not certain how much time do I have left, or are we at the end?
-4 minutes.
-4 minutes, okay, I finish here. It's just a summary of what we've done and as a company, and thank you for your attention. I'm happy to answer any possible questions.
Thank you very much. Due to the lack of time, please find Faron at the booth.